So as we know, there's many things going around about love and true love and how we identify with that feeling, emotion, state of being, all questionable inside of us, and how that relates to the world around us. And, you know, as we grow into whether we claim the role of an elder, some of us decide to take life seriously or not. And some of us believe, you know, it's a bit of a game and you've got to play, you've got to have that kind of childlike mentality and mode to move through it so the magic can appear, because it's usually through fun and love and laughter and all of those high vibrational moments. But responsibility doesn't need to be about seriousness. For me, like, it's coming over at the minute that responsibility is love and love is responsibility. And in terms of honouring who we love and how we love, be that, in sort of any dynamic, family or friends or intimate relationships, love being a responsibility is us truly understanding that when someone opens and reveals themselves to us, I believe at a core level, an honest level, is we have a responsibility to look after that person's heart, not to heal it, because everybody will have their own individual work in a dynamic, but to be aware of the triggers, or just to have a responsibility to want to nurture the love inside somebody else. If we see it there, if it's been felt, if it's been exchanged, and, you know, love is considering somebody else's life circumstances and being compassionate. And, you know, it's not about feeling guilty for our different choices of things have led us in different to different places in time, or, you know, feeling guilty that we can't do anything about somebody else's circumstances because, you know, we're not near them. But without some form of responsibility in relationship, then the ego can take over. And I think especially the wounded part of the ego can, you know, make justifications around how someone talks to somebody who might be in a vulnerable position, or, you know, they might think that it's okay to say certain things or to ignore certain things, or not honour what a partner or a loved one is sharing. They either trash talk it, or they ignore it, or they brush it under the carpet. And a state of a moment in time where a lot of us are accessing higher levels of consciousness, maybe we become more passionate, we love ourselves first. And so all of this really starts with the self. Like, do we actually know love? Like, do we really and truly love ourselves, or are we still constantly seeking and searching, which is never the right words to apply for anything in life, is because you search for it, you seek it, it's not really going to be found. It's like we can explore the depths, but finding oneself is, I mean, we're here all along. It's just either uncovering or deprogramming from things across a lifetime. And I think responsibility also in relationships means repair. You know, I don't know if it's a millennial thing, or this is not to judge or put labels on things, because I don't really even like that, but it's like if things are so easily discarded or ignored, and people are happier to be right and to have everything look a particular way rather than be in the realness of human relationships, which are messy, And that doesn't mean we accept poor behaviour or, you know, we need to be around or spend time with people that genuinely like the energy. It just doesn't feel... We don't need to push ourselves to be in uncomfortable situations. Life isn't comfortable anyway, so pushing ourselves to be around people whose energy after we leave just feels like it feels a bit like we've maybe pretended. Then we'll need to do some reevaluation around that. But I think moving through something like CPTSD, which whether people, I mean, some people deny what I went through, and you know, and I'm like, are you even there? So various levels of trauma and things that we go through that other people like simply can't relate to, and also like don't believe it ever happened. We're obviously going to be living in different realities, and so love should really honour the person as a person, and whether you believe they've been through something or not, whether you agree with what they're saying or not, is that level of responsibility of like not adding more pain or hurt to a scenario or a situation, like not needing to prove a point to make someone else hurt more. And I don't know if it's like because I experienced it and later in life as more one sort of a couple of events that happened rather than a repeated programming from childhood, which there's lots of trauma in that sense as well. Is I don't know, because I'm not an expert on psychology or behaviour or trauma, but I'm an expert of my own life and my own lived experiences, and it's seen in observations around me. It seems like the deprogramming from that, I mean, is one ever fully healed? You know, we change completely our responses and trust and various things changes because the rose-tinted glasses have come off and you see the evils of the world and people, and that's got nothing to do with us. It's just what happens and how the light needs to be shone on the shadows. So when we sort of accept that the trauma's happened, and then we go about deprogramming and healing from the stories that have either entered our psyche from other things or other places, or what other people have said to us, or various other things, whether it's not easier, but whether it's just a different set of, it's like a different type of healing than when it's been programmed in an early stage of your life. Because I know what love is, and I've felt it and I feel it, and I love myself regardless of anybody else's opinion of me. But then somebody else that didn't have that strong loving foundation as a start in life, it was repeated trauma and behaviour and like survival mode and conflict, and seeing unhealthy toxic relationships play out where a woman would accept abuse over a man, or you know, need and this is not anti-men or anything, but this is just in examples that I'm sort of tapping into, is they see a repeated behaviour of men towards women, and on some level like that becomes part of that person's identity. And then whether they choose to address that or want to like heal it and move in the opposite direction of like, you know, honouring the feminine is for that person to make those decisions. But I just wonder, this might be a bit gobbledygook, but how healing differs for everybody because of how things happen to us. But if we truly have like felt love and know love, which we all are, and we're all coming back to that. That's why searching and seeking it is nothing about it. It's just like, it's there. It's just like there's a web of lies or deceit or programming that's come from something else, not us individually, to say that we're not worthy or we're not beautiful or we're not deserving of loving relationships, respect, inner standing, like soul connections. Because once we believe that, those relationships do gravitate towards us, and those lessons do become less of lessons. They become sort of just background boundaries, because we're in harmonious, loving relationships. We're not in survival mode, and we're not trying to take what we can or grab what we can while it's there and create false narratives around how we want our life to look a certain way, like to other people. I'll have to watch this back. So I was speaking to the water. I was with the water today, and I've got lots of things in my head, but I just think love and repair in relationships is our responsibility, and not everybody's going to accept responsibility at an equal depth, because not everybody knows each other themselves. Excuse me, lots coming through. As another will know themselves, so you can only obviously meet people at the depth that they've looked at their own shadow and are willing to accept that some people might not like them, or some people think you're this, that and the other, and stop trying to control things. But love, relationships are hard. Love is not hard itself. It's the entanglement and the attachment and the codependencies that sometimes can come when we've not healed ourselves, because we should all be able to be by ourselves and live freely. And then when we seek to have those relationships around us, familial, social and intimate, they're like add-ons, they're additions. You know, we were already in love before somebody arrived, and it's just like magnifying the love that we have to bring in more of what we both desire and want to co-create. But unfortunately, not everybody is happy to see beautiful souls come together and to share stories, or someone also might want to feed energetically off another person, which I put out in the video before, so I don't want to go back on the same chat as that. But I just feel like if we really love people, we wouldn't talk certain way to people. We can't do it. It's not in our nature. It's not about being a good person. It's like, if you love somebody, it's not about not getting angry or swearing, but like, you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to make them feel like, you know, you could go at any moment, or you don't value them. Like, it's just not, we can't do it. It's not in our nature. It goes against the karmic laws that we live by, and actually, like, have embodied the value system is, may not like somebody, might not like their energy, might not like how they express themselves, which is not ours to judge, but ultimately, like, everybody's got stuff going on, and no one really knows the dynamic between people behind closed doors. So I just trust that love, we can all take love a bit more seriously and responsibly, because nowadays it seems like a bit just a throwaway culture, and no one wants any type of responsibility. And I get it, because a lot of us have had trauma, and people have had to be adults before they're fully adults, and taken on too much responsibility. And, you know, we can all scale that down, but being alive, there is some form of, especially, you know, moving up to elders and creating families and all of that, is like, there is some form of responsibility that we need to take in order to fully embrace like, well, I'll say the role of an elder for me, but might not matter to other people. And yeah, it's not also just about being righteous, but it's just like not letting ourselves down, not giving up so easy, not wanting everything so easy, and being triggered by everything that comes our way. That's not what we want. It's just like, it's how we're going to respond to everything, you know. Someone is always going to present some form of mirror, and they're never going to have lived our experiences. So love is the key. Love is the only way that we're going to be able to be compassionate with each other, with what's to come. And when you move through your own darkness, and I say through because you're not living it like, you know, it's not about judging others who sin when sinning is, you know, I don't know if I believe in sin. I believe in people taking accountability for their actions, and, you know, working through things through addiction and various stuff. But it's like when you're not living in your own shadows anymore, they just surface how they surface, because we're cyclical, well, women cyclical beings, and we are generally cyclical beings on a non-linear path. Is you spot things in others, you spot things in like around us, because again, not a judgment. It's like, oh, I've been there, oh, I see that in myself, I see you in myself, like see a part of yourself, and, you know, reflections of sad moments when you can identify with a really unhealthy way of being and existing, and just wishing that person love and strength to overcome, and yeah, like truly love their life and live, and not just fall into stagnation, really.